Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, reviewing the price action, what's been going on the 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week charts, taking a look at some data, some news, and obviously having a look at exchanges and trades that we've been making here at Cheeky Crypto. So as we kind of get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. The link is in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free. And what have you got to lose? Check it out. Let's jump right down into the video. Starting off with our 1 hour time frame. Here we have XRP paired up with USDT using the BitGet spot exchange. And I was wrong. So let's put this into context. What was I wrong about? Well, I was expecting slightly further down to finish off this Y wave from yesterday. And we got a reversal in the price action. A reversal pretty much is on the back of BTC's run upwards, breaking that 30k level. Most altcoins kind of rallied with it. And so we did break out of this idea of a further move to the downside for our Y wave. So our Y wave is up here. Our C wave is a little bit stunted. But for the most part, we are right up there in the X wave now. Meaning that we are still looking for the Z wave down, and we are still looking for that for good reason. Okay, now this move upwards here is pretty strong, but we have been rejected on the 200 EMA. Now we are and have broken out of our bearish trend structure from a smart money concepts point of view. I have to kind of pull that in there. So if we take a look here, we had a change of character up here. This was on the 24th of July. We got a break of structure up here that basically confirmed that we were bearish on the 30th of July. We got another break of structure over here. This happened on the 3rd of August. And then we had most recently another one down here as we got into that recent Y wave low on the 7th of August, right? And so we can see here that we're bearish on all of this, but that's now changed. So what has changed? Well, this move to the upside here has put us in a structured move that is now changing the characteristic from bearish to bullish. Hasn't been confirmed with a break of structure or anything like that, but it is there and we should acknowledge it. Okay, so we're getting rejected on the 200 hourly EMA. We've got a bullish change of characterization. What's the obvious? Well, the obvious here is that we do cool off a little bit. Okay, we have to pull back. Now, the Z wave is no guarantee, but it is what we'd expect considering the structure of what we've seen within this move. So we have to kind of consider our Z wave pattern here as something that needs to kind of play out. Now, there's no guarantees, of course, because if we do break up above that 200 EMA, I think we're kind of, going to be done for the Z wave. But I will put in here the target range nonetheless, because it actually isn't that bad. The target range isn't as bad as it once was looking, so we should acknowledge that. It's basically going to be 58.8 to 61.7. Okay, so that's going to be the range that we're looking for right inside there to finish off that pattern. Now, we still have fair value gaps on the way to the downside. That's okay. We'll talk about some of the stuff on the larger time frames in a moment in terms of where I still think things have to go. But for the most part here on our hourly chart, it's not looking too bad. Taking a look at the most recent few candlesticks on the hourly chart, what do we see? Well, we see not terribly too much. We are in lower highs and lower lows. This will have a tendency to want to break on upwards. I think we're going to be testing the 200 EMA again. We can see here that we're potentially under a 3-wave pattern. We're down in the oversold area. We've got a bit of a break upwards. I don't think the X wave high is done just yet, essentially. Looking at the slightly different timeframes of the 4 and 8 hour, though, we are overbought. So we will be expecting further downside where an equilibrium test is something to consider. There's a fair value gap also sat right inside here. Let me find it right inside this little gap here, sat between 63.1 and 63.5. We should consider that as something that we're going to grab as well. So for the most part, I'm looking for moves down on those kind of 4 and 8 hour time frames. The hourly time frame, however, could be a little bit more of a break upwards. Essentially, though, I'm thinking we're going to tap into that 61.7 to 58.8. That will finish off our structure, and then we can start thinking about the reversals, proper reversals to the upside, which, of course, may have already started, and the Z wave may just be absolute nonsense. And the reason I say this is this move upwards is looking very strong, and this strong kind of movement, a nice cool off and another break to the upside, is something that we need to consider. In fact, I'd probably argue that that is probably the most likely scenario. I don't want to rule out the Z wave because that is what was currently following here, but we also need to consider that actually the structure of this is looking good. We might find ourselves do something like this, and we might want to think of that as a Z wave, but I don't think it's something that we'd have to consider. I would consider a Z wave something down at double bottom or lower, so we need to kind of consider that. So really, I'm talking about being lower than 59.7 for the Z wave scenario to really be something I would consider a viable option. But ultimately, I think we've got some interesting volatility to be expected on the hourly time frame, but it's a little bit inconclusive. I think, though, if we were to kind of ignore the idea of the Z wave, actually things are looking pretty good. We've got the change of characterization into the bullish area, and we've got good structured move upwards. So we're calling off nicely. We're oversold on the hourly, on the daily still, as well as long as the hourly. So I think, maybe, in fact, I'm going to call it. I'm just going to go out and say, you know what, I don't think we're going to be getting the Z wave. I think we're going to be more than likely breaking upwards here. So and I'm going to kind of be bold enough to say this because that's what I truly do think is likely to occur. Okay, I'm not just going to be here kind of, saying one thing if it's not what I think is going to happen. So likelihood scenario, I think, is actually we're probably going to cool back down into this range on the 4 and 8 hourly time frames. That's 61 to 62 cent, and then we'll break on upwards from there. That'll be a test, most likely of around 50%. 50%, as you can kind of see, is equilibrium, and this sits on the 618 and the 382. I think that's the most likely scenario. So I think we're going to call off into here on those 4 and 8 hour time frames if we've already topped out, which I still think we have another test to happen on that 200 EMA just yet. Let's go ahead and break this up into our daily time frame, because the daily time frame is going to help us understand things a bit more, right? So we have the idea of a WXYXZ on the daily, and this one I think is more than likely going to stick out for us, right? So we will be looking for that break upwards. Again, we were talking about this not too long ago for that X wave, and then we'll come back down into another Z wave at a later date. That's going to be outside of our hourly, right? So what we're talking about within the hourly was in here, a W, X, Y, X and Z for this Y wave here, but I don't think that's really what's going to play on. I think we're in this X wave now, and what I'm thinking is we're likely to kind of push up into that range over the next couple of weeks or so. Okay, so that range being 66 to 70 cent, and then from there we break back down into the actual area of support, which would be the 53 to 58 cent range, testing on that 200 daily EMA. So I think essentially this is really where the work's going to be happening. You can see that we're still oversold down here on our daily time frame down here, right? And so that gives us the ability to kind of push up into that X wave nicely, and then from there we can talk about that move down into the support level. Again, nice healthy corrections. There's nothing unusual about this. This is all really healthy for XRP, considering we've broken up quite significantly, right? And we were measuring out our 3-wave pattern, our ABC structure here to the upside. We hit our target at the 93.76, I think we had it, and it went to 93.8. And then all we're doing here is basically taking a look at this previous area of resistance and saying, yeah, our structure of a WXYXZ structure is basically going to turn previous resistance into support. So keeping it nice and simple outside of Elliott wave theory, you get a move to the upside here. And of course, this could be a really big bullish movement, because if we take a look and articulate this differently, we could argue that maybe this 3-wave pattern is just maybe a W wave. This is all a Y wave coming down, an X wave coming down here, and then we get this big break to the upside for that bigger Y wave structure, right? And again, that's actually something that we can see more visible on the weekly time frame. As I bring this back down, you can kind of see our 3-wave pattern finishing here, getting rejected on the 382 Fibonacci resequencing level, looking to come down into those lows. At the moment, actually finding decent support around that 57 cent level. As you can see here, I think we tapped down to a low currently of 59.67. And yeah, from here, we'll be looking for that move upwards, right? And we're to be talking about breaching that dollar level on that next structure. Now, for the most part, we obviously have good, interesting target ranges, appreciation on a bigger C wave structure towards 557 to 1121. That's something that is actually sitting inside our bigger arching structure on this weekly time frame. As you can kind of see, everything here is actually well structured out. There is, of course, the bearish structure that we need to consider. It's something that it's not guaranteed, but we have to argue that maybe there's a move to come all the way down to 10 cent. I mean, that's for like the perma bears out there, I guess. It's not something that I think is likely to occur, but something that is possible technically. But I don't see it as something that is likely to occur. I personally think that considering the amount of time that has now passed since our bear market low at 28.72, back in 2022, I think that is the bear market low point. Not that we can guarantee it because we don't have a good trend-based structure to the upside here, and we got rejected on 38.2. But nonetheless, it's the most likely scenario in my mind right now for us. So yeah, for now, it looks like we are moving up. Bear market lows in for XRP. We correct down. We can correct down to 40 cent. That's perfectly fine. There's good area of consolidation in this range. Specifically, actually looking at it between 41 and 46 cent. That would be an interesting place. If we were to lose the support level around that 53 cent level, then we'll be looking at that kind of 40s to be a nice strong support for the next bounce upwards. Because if we consider this one of those options, right, where we come down to, like, let's say 53 cent, we bounce up, maybe we hit that 70, and then we break down into 40. That there is a really nice healthy correction that would allow us to look at this as a bigger three-wave pattern to move on up. Again, nothing moves in straight lines, so you'd expect to see some healthy corrections on that journey before you then continue these breaks upwards, right? And over time, you start to see these really good runs. Now, things can move very aggressively at times, but for now, everything's actually looking pretty good here for XRP. So let's take this up into the data side of the video. So as you guys know by now, we do have a membership website, membership.𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 so you can check it out, cancel it before any charges are made and all that kind of stuff. And in here, you get access to a lot of different things, everything from the base stuff where we have AMAs for our members, exclusive videos, all that kind of usual stuff, through to trading alerts and alerts perk, which is basically things that are happening in the space, what Chris and myself are up to, through to the on-chain data and even course material, and various different perks down here that you can add and customize and so forth. And obviously, if you want full access, it's also packaged there for that. Now, under the data zone, there's XRP data. If I click into the XRP data, we get the overview. We can also see the liquidations for XRP as well, sitting at 2.9 million. And we have the wallet count data as well. So taking a look at the 1 million XRP or more, updated for yesterday's data, we can see there's 2,120 XRP holders that have over 1 million XRP. We can see here that 13.25% in the last 365 days, and in the last 7 days it's up 0.33% as well. Taking a look at the 100,000 XRP or more, 33,200 wallets that have over 100,000 XRP, up 21.27% in the last 365 days. Very aggressively been buying. They have sold a little bit though on the recent price action here, so you can see it's being fueled a little bit by some selling pressure at this level, right? So big money kind of coming out of the market. 10,000 XRP or more, 270,000 holders, up 31.35% in the last 365 years, right? So we can see that there's good accumulation happening here for XRP, and that's a really good positive, right? It shows that actually, you know, people are buying into this ahead of conclusion of the case. What will happen afterwards? Well, is there going to be a big mass sell-off effect? Who knows, right? Sell the news. It could be some really interesting times for XRP in the future, but I do think there's some good price appreciation to be had as well. Let's take this up into some news as well, actually. So we did see that the chief lawyer reacts to the corruption rumors, and essentially this is just about how there needs to be an investigation into Hinman, and basically, you know, the former SEC commissioner whose private correspondence has come under scrutiny in the SEC versus Ripple. You know, I think it's interesting. I think it has to be integrity within the regulatory bodies, right? And there isn't. And it's no shocker, it's no surprise that there is going to be corruption at these levels, right? And Chris and myself say this all the time. There should be jail time. There needs to be very significant consequences for these officials within these positions if they do go down the road of being corrupt individuals, right? If they want to be in it for personal greed rather than anything else. And so jail time should be on the cards for these guys. I want to see, Bill Hinman, face jail time. I want to see 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 for what bullshit he pulled on the XRP community on his last day of the office. I want to see him in some in an orange jumpsuit, right? I want to see that kind of thing. I want 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗧𝗔𝗡𝗧𝗏 to face charges and jail time as well. It would make sense that these guys are held accountable for their actions at a really severe level. I do not see how they can have the justification for what they are doing and the actions, right, of what these individuals are doing. Without these kind of consequences. There needs to be stark consequences for what they are doing, because only when the consequences are so severe will it actually deter people from being corrupt little bitches that they are. So with that said, rant over, let's move on. It just winds me up. Exchanges. So if you haven't yet signed up to BitGet, you should probably get on that. The affiliate link is in the description down below. Like I say many times over, it's important that you have access to as many different cryptocurrency exchanges as you possibly can, because in these bullish markets, when you're trying to offload your XRP, your exchange that you use all the time might not be online. They might be offline. There might be too many users trying to log on, and you need to get a backup fast, right? You're trying to scramble around, you're trying to find a good platform that's actually working, then you're trying to figure out how to use it, how do you onboard, do you do KYC, is there a delay in doing KYC, and all these things. Do yourself a favor, sign up to as many of these exchanges as you possibly can, right? BitGet is my go-to platform. The affiliate link is in the description below. Sign up to it, get familiar with it, figure out how to put money on, how to take money off, and you'll do yourself a service in the future. Now, BitGet is my go-to platform. I do 100% of my leverage trading, 90 to 95% of my spot trading, but I do have access to other exchanges too, right? I use Binance, I use Coinbase, I use Bybit, I use KuCoin, I use Gate.io, right? I use a handful of these other cryptocurrency exchanges, and I'm familiar with how they operate. That allows me to move my cryptocurrency to wherever I need to move it to in order to transact, whether I'm buying or whether I am selling. I set myself up for success in the future. So do yourself a favor, if you haven't done so already, sign up to BitGet using the affiliate link in the description below. You'll be eligible for up to $8,000 of rewards depending on how much you deposit and trade on the platform. And well, why not? Don't do yourself a disservice. Do yourself a favor. Sign up to BitGet, linked in the description below. Moving on, we actually see some really good trades over the last 24 hours with our community down in our Discord server. Our members have absolutely been crushing it. As we can see here, STX short at 126%, algo long at 62%. We have a short on API3 at 145%. We can see a long on Bitcoin at 41% and a short here on HBAR at 88%, right? And we also see some other really great ones here as well. GMX at 123% as well, right? And so one of the things I wanted to kind of highlight here is that the members are absolutely crushing it, doing really, really well with their trades, using the technical analysis from our membership areas as well. And I will also just point out, guys, this is not crazy leverage either. We're not talking 50x or degen 100x, the kind of stuff that makes your hair stick up on the back of your neck because it's just so high risk. This is nice 10x leverage. This is, you know, pretty easy to kind of do. It's not overexposing yourself. It's actually stuff that makes me really proud to say that, yeah, our guys are crushing it and they're not going and doing things too crazy. So if you haven't already checked out the membership stuff, why not check it out? Also linked in the description below. I'm going to leave the video right there though, guys. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, what are you waiting for? Check it out, linked in the description down below. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.